Today we've got some new gear that I've been testing out, not one but two new portable power stations coming from Anker. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. I got a gear review for you guys today. These are two brand new products coming from Anker. On my right here we have the portable power station, the 535, and on this side the 521. The 535's little brother. Now, I've been using both of these portable power stations for the past 2 weeks as I've been traveling around the country in a van. Both of these are relatively the same build quality, battery technology. However, the larger one has a little bit more functionality to it, so we're gonna focus mainly on this today. And I've actually found some really good real-world uses for both of these battery banks, and we will talk about those after we dive into the specs. Now, what you see is what you get with the 535 portable power station. You have 4 AC outlets on the right-hand side. You have 1 USB-C port, 3 USB-A ports, and even a car socket over on the left-hand side. Now, when it comes to durability, this thing is packed with premium lithium iron phosphate batteries at its core, which can endure a claimed 3,000 cycles of full charge and recharge cycles. This equates to durability of about a 6 times longer lifespan than the industry average. I can't speak to these numbers fully yet because I've only been using these power stations for the past 2 weeks. However, I do own some very old Anker products and they still work great. I believe the first time I bought an Anker product was about 5 years ago, and it was one of these little battery packs that looks like this. I've traveled all over the place using that thing to charge camera batteries, cell phone batteries, and I wish I could find it somewhere in my office here to show you guys how durable it actually is. Now, the rugged design of this thing seems pretty promising so far because these were just sort of bouncing loosely in the back of a van for the past 2 weeks, and it's not even really that scuffed up. It was a little bit dirty, so I wiped it off before the video, but so far it seems pretty bomb-proof. Now for the charging capabilities. In a little less than 2.5 hours, the 535 can be recharged to a total output of 180 watts, going from 0 to 80%. I have used both the 535 and the 521 from 100% all the way down to 0 and recharged them, so far we are on 1 recharge cycle. If the battery technology in here lives up to the hype, then hopefully these things will last me quite a long time. Now, first up, we'll take a look at the USB ports across the front. We have 3 A connections and then 1 USB-C connection. These are the only ports where you don't have to actually activate anything to get power from them. So if I simply plug in a USB cable, plug that right into my camera, now you will see the GoPro is charging, and if we hit the display button, you get a really nice bright display. You can actually see this in bright sunlight, which you cannot say about a lot of other options out there. The battery's charged to 99%. It will run for 99.9 hours. It'll be able to charge this GoPro like almost indefinitely, because as of right now, this little GoPro Hero 10 is only drawing 3 watts of power. The USB-C quick charge port is also super nice to have, and I didn't even think about this while I was using it for the past 2 weeks, but I could plug my laptop directly into that port instead of using the AC outlets over on the side. You're gonna get 60 watts out of that USB-C port, and this is great because you don't need to take any extra laptop chargers, the big bricks that typically come with them. It's gonna free up all of these ports for whatever else you wanna charge, and it's a lot less to carry with you. Now, to speak a little more towards the versatility of this thing, you can charge up to 9 different devices with the car socket over here, 4 USB ports, and 4 AC ports. One thing that I did find useful was charging camera batteries. Everything on the front here is flat, so even when you have a charger like this, you can simply plug that into place. For the AC, you do need to actually turn on the AC power, and as you can see, my camera battery is now charging at 6 watts. Now, if I move this battery over to the other slot, you will see right here we have a power saving switch. What that does is if I flip that on, you have a little sort of eco symbol right up here in the corner. What that will do is automatically turn off the AC ports once whatever you are charging here is fully charged and it is no longer drawing power. That's gonna save you a ton of battery life in the long run because you don't want this battery running when it's obviously not charging anything. I've been primarily using this thing to charge camera batteries and my laptop as I'm editing while I'm on the road, but what else can it actually charge? You're going to be able to run a mini cooler at a 45 watt draw for about 8.5 hours. This is something that I never really thought of before, but anyone out there who may have to use a CPAP machine, you're going to be able to run a 40 watt CPAP machine for about 9.6 hours. That should hopefully get you through a good night's sleep. You could also run a little portable fan at about a 35 watt draw for 10.9 hours, and even a 43-inch TV at 110 watt draw for about 3.4 hours. We should actually test this one out. Now this TV is a little bit more powerful at 190 watts, but let's see how it does. Plug it in, power on, power up the TV. And now, without actually showing any picture on the screen right now, this thing is drawing 73 watts and it will run for 6.3 hours. So in an emergency situation, maybe your power goes out at home, you can still enjoy some entertainment on a TV without using the actual power from your home, which no longer works. Now, one more piece of useful functionality out of this thing would be great in a camping situation. Maybe you have this thing up in your tent and you're running a heated blanket or any other kind of electric heater. This light bar right on the front here, if we tap that, you get instant light, nice and warm. It has a solid on mode like this, and then if I turn it off and press and hold that, it actually goes into sort of an SOS mode for any kind of emergency situations that you may run into. So now for the real world uses, like I mentioned, I've been using this thing to charge my laptop while I'm on the road, to charge camera batteries, and I also actually tested out this portable shower system coming from Geyser. This thing uses an Anderson connection cable with a car socket on there, so I was actually able to plug this thing into the car socket. And this Geyser system shower is also something that I'm testing out right now. I'll bring you guys a full video on this sometime in the future, but it's able to heat your water, and it also has a water pump in here so you can take showers while you're off the grid. Now, when I was editing late one night while on the road the other day, we were at our campsite and I was charging my computer with the AC outlets on the 535. This thing started at 100% and then I was editing for roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours. Because editing videos is so power intensive, this thing did not have the capability to actually make it 100% charged as I was using and consuming a ton of power on my laptop. However, it did allow me to edit without running my battery all the way down. This thing started at 100% and after about 2 hours of editing, it went down to roughly 77%. Once I was finished editing, I closed my laptop and this thing was able to charge a computer to 100% very quickly after that. So the performance of this thing is really going to depend on how much power you are actually consuming while you have devices plugged into it. And then for the Geyser shower system, here's a quick little review of this thing. I plugged this into the car socket over on the side here with just some cold tap water. This thing with a 122 watt draw was able to heat roughly 3 liters of water from cold tap water temperature all the way up to 100 degrees in roughly 30 to 35 minutes based off of this power bank. There are ways to expedite that process. I could have put hot water in here from the get-go and it would have done it much quicker with a lesser power draw. However, since I'm testing both of these things, I figured I might as well make it as extreme as possible. Given that power consumption, if I was only using cold water, I could probably shower like 5 to 6 times using this system with this battery. And as of now, I think those numbers are pretty good, but I won't know until I'm actually out there testing it in some real world camping scenarios. Now, if we bring the little 521 into the picture, this thing is great if you're not concerned about space and you want to have as much power as possible. However, a lot of times if you're living on the road or you're traveling a lot, this is going to be a better option. It's lighter, it still has the same great durability, battery technology, a few less ports on this one. But where I found this thing super useful was when I was actually editing at an Airbnb that I was not familiar with. There were just kind of like random couches all over the place, and there was no way for me to plug my computer into an outlet with a short power cable. So I simply sat this thing on the coffee table in front of me, plugged my computer in, and I was able to edit an entire video without having to sit up against a wall or sit somewhere that was just not comfortable. This would also be great for someone who maybe is going around to coffee shops. How many times have you gone into a coffee shop and you're looking for an outlet to charge your phone, your iPad, or your laptop? You gotta sit in like a weird corner and kind of move stuff out of the way to plug things in. This thing is not super intrusive, and I don't think it would be weird to walk into a coffee shop, set this thing down on a table, and plug in whatever devices you may need to charge. Another prime example of that would be airports. How many times have you went to an airport and found one of these fake outlet stickers on a little pillar or something near your terminal? Super annoying. Outlets are relatively scarce at airports, so something like this could definitely come in handy. So if you're not concerned about space and you want as much power as possible, then I'd recommend checking out the Anker 535. If space is a concern to you and you're not worried about having a ton of power, then maybe the 521 would be a good option for you. The 535 is available right now going for a price of about $550, so it's definitely an investment, but I've used Anker products in the past and I believe that this is something that I can trust. The smaller brother over here, the 521, is available for $250, so cheaper price, you're gonna save space, you're just not gonna get as much power. So that is all that I have for these new portable power stations coming from Anker as of right now. You guys will definitely see me using these in some future camping videos, both in the van and in the Tacoma, so stay tuned for that stuff. If any of my thoughts change on both of these units in the future, I will definitely update you guys in a future video. So if you have any questions on the 535 or the 521 portable power banks, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe because I make new videos every week. As always, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.